Ay, 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 ay. Oh, Kian. Not the pod I was looking forward to do today. I'll tell you that. And it was a tough one. I wish you would have watched the whole match because I think you would have. Was actually very curious to get to know your perspective on this one. I remember how we finished the last pod. I was saying, and we were talking about pride and defeat, moral victories, which apparently also Real Madrid have moral victories that were being posted and flaunted on Twitter.
Okay, well, so a couple things there. I wasn't a part of that. That's the.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Well, I wasn't. I mean, but I will say it was very. It's a joke, obviously. It's you know.
What? No, that wasn't. Look. No, there was no sarcasm.
Fun.
You guys took it. No, you guys took that as a moral victory. You guys are like, hey, we only lost 1-0 in the 94th minute against Barca. Quite honestly, it was a surprising result. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, a very good defensive performance from Real Madrid Femenino and some really great goalkeeping from Misa. But obviously, poking at the fun of the fact that and let's be honest. Let's be clear on something. If there is any room for a moral victory, it's Real Madrid Femenino in its early existence against one of the greatest sports teams of all time. I think that qualifies as a moral victory. Going down 1-0 when a sold-out Camp Nou, everyone's expecting a bloodbath, 5-6-0. That is a moral victory.
Okay, so those are the criteria. Fine. Now that I know that, I'll know when to call the moral victory and when not. Okay. Thank you for that.
We have a question, by the way, from a patron about this. Should we read it? Because I feel like we might answer before the question. So let's read it. Our patron Adrian Rio says, oh no, it's a completely different question, so we'll save it for the end. So I misread it. Okay, so talk about it. Did you guys feel like you had a moral victory against Athletic?
No. Okay. No. And that's the big disappointment here, and that's what I was alluding to before, is that our previous podcast, we talked about I mentioned that this will only be a moral victory truly if we continue to perform like this, and if we see this as a clear progression and don't take a step back. Well, yesterday we took a step back. It was not the performance that we wanted to see from the team prior, our last match, which is the Super Copa, which is an eternity ago. So I would love to know from these players, if not from Xavi, if he's going to be asked, but certainly from the players, what happened during this? When was the Super Copa, man? A week ago. They had an 7-day, 8-day break to recharge the batteries, refocus, focus on the task at hand. A tough match out at San Mamés, La Catedral of football, in Bilbao, a stadium where the fans are jam-packed. They're on top of you. The atmosphere that's waiting for you in a one-round knockout match of the Copa del Rey against a solid team that disappointed all of us in the Super Copa, unfortunately, against Madrid. They were dismantled, but at home, against this Barca, with all of the flaws, we always knew that this was going to be a tougher match for Barca to win, yes or yes. So my question is, why did we see this intensity, this lack thereof, rather, in this game coming from so many of these players? When for the Athletic Club players, it was the complete opposite. They came with less rest, having played Madrid in the final, losing that final clearly. They came out guns blazing. I mean, the intensity was there and everything was there. It was just, even though we stretched this one out into extra time, and you could, if you haven't seen this match, which I guess is your case, Kian, you could have maybe draw the parallels and say, well, hey, it looks like the Culés are getting a moral victory out of this because maybe it went the same way as it did in the Super Copa final. No, it did not. Two completely different performances with the same results. But I'm not taking anything out of this other than, hey, this is a serious step backwards from where we left things off a week ago. What's happening now? Seamos serios. Let's be honest. Let's be serious now. Ferran Torres scored a brilliant goal. Not taking anything away from him. There clearly are players that do get a pass. I mean, I can't tell you the sadness and the profound frustration that I feel, that we feel as fans, and let alone Ansu Fati himself, for seeing that limp and then seeing him coming off, biting his shirt, and that the tears, the emotion immediately brought shockwaves to all of us. Going, oh no, not again, man, not again. Like, this is such a setback in morale and everything. So it's the complete counter opposite of what this team needed after such a poor performance as well. Top it off, Pedri also injured. It's just the worst outcome right now. And I don't know what's going to happen on Sunday. I have to cover the match against Alaves. I'm fearful and frightful because, it's again, it's just not, and I want to highlight that. On the last spot I mentioned, I'll only take this as a moral victory if we see a clear progression now, if we see an upwards trend, if we see something good continuing to happen from this game against Madrid. But we're not. We took a step back, and it's worrisome now. And then we can talk about the Dembélé situation if you want, but that is just about the match. That's my takeaway.
Well, yeah, yesterday was a weird day. I mean, also, Isco and Hazard scored our 2 goals, which was unexpected.
Yes.
And
fuck me.
The Ansu injury also, like the Pedri one doesn't seem to be as bad, thankfully. The Ansu one is worrying because from what I've read, and I don't know that much because I'm not a physician, the left biceps femoris is one that's tricky and has a higher chance of re-aggravation throughout your career, and it's also connected to the knee, and so there is concern that could be something lingering for the rest of his career, and I really hope not. But I like, it's devastating to think about because he's such a talent and such a good kid. So let's hope not. But that does worry me a little bit. But I guess like you pose an interesting question. Like, Barca had a bigger break, more rest. Athletic played more recent. I don't know the answer to again, I didn't see I only saw the extended highlights. So in terms of intensity and stuff, I will say, when you look at some of the matchups that gave Barca problems in this, one was Nico Williams versus Jordi Alba.
Yeah.
Nico Williams did not start against Real Madrid. So he didn't, it's not like he's been playing a lot of minutes. He came in off the bench, and he's like a million years younger than Alba. And so that in itself is it won't have to do much with the fact that you guys had more rest than them. Nico Williams he's fine. He doesn't need any more rest, right?
What a great kid. Well, how fun is it as well, the Williams brothers. Yeah, the Williams brothers. I mean, I started out watching this game with a lot of excitement and a lot of enthusiasm and optimism even when Atleti, scored that beautiful goal. Some people might have been thinking that it was you tweeting from the account, but it was actually not. That right there just shows that I was still feeling optimistic and excited for this match and fancied our chances, right? I was thinking, look, Barca are going to get into the game, slow it down, get a goal back, which we did. But there was something, oddly missing from this team, and I think intensity is that word that really wraps it up. It was a lack of concentration and seriousness on behalf of veteran players of this team. Again, a clear sign that, look, younger players. Why is Balde not? Where is Balde, for crying out loud? Why is he not being used?
You guys have a wingback issue right now, I think.
Big time.
I think Balde probably deserves a chance after what we saw yesterday, especially if Alba's gonna go up against a really fast winger, which let's be honest, a lot of teams in world football have that. Alves has looked pretty okay offensively.
Didn't look bad offensively, yeah.
Defensively, it's just a concern. The other
yes.
I don't know what your thoughts are about this, but I was looking at the fact that Tottenham are close to signing Adama Traore. Would you take a player like him in the team right now? I feel like you guys need to strengthen the wingback positions big time. So that's got to be a priority, right? I know there was reported that Alemany wants to sign a left back. I didn't see anything about a right back, but you guys need to strengthen those positions. Well,
it makes me wonder, what it would have been of a player such as Emerson if we just would have kept him. You know, at the end of the day, we had we had players in the wing back positions that could have helped this team. Everything that we had seen from Emerson up until that point with Betis was, you know, also quite encouraging. Let's put it that way. Under a coach like Manuel Pellegrini, you know, an offensive-minded coach that was actually getting Emerson to work quite, you know, diligently. Let's put it that way. I mean, he certainly became more disciplined in defense as well. Because offensively, I think this player could have given Barca a whole lot of opportunities and. It's a shame that, you know, for a quick flip and quite little profit in the end, we got rid of an additional option. You talk about Adama. Look, I mean, you know, we could be sitting here discussing a long list of wing backs that we would like, or that I would like, that I see fit. Also for you know, the wing back. I mean, Cucurella is another one. Right, he's having an awful time, I think, in England. Last I heard or read, he could have been fantastic replacement for Jordi Alba. I mean, the natural replacement, if anything, when it comes to intensity, you know, sacrifice. Why not look at him? I don't think he's playing much at the moment, or am I completely missing that? I mean, that's the last thing I read on Cucurella. It seemed that he was not having a great time. Since his last transfer. So, but I still think in-house we have good solutions. I do think from what I saw, and a lot of people talk about, you know, Balde's inefficiencies, let's say, defensively. But I feel that with a lot of these players that were maybe wingers before, or for even the vast majority, you know, the large part of their career, at only 18, you know, they've probably been playing, you know, as a winger for maybe 6-8 years, right? Then all of a sudden, you're asking them to completely change their mindset and change their position in a more defensive position as a wing back. That takes time. And I feel that these players, like Dani Alves, I'm sure as well, I mean, he had to work on that transition. And a lot of these players are maybe discarded too quickly, or not being told, or not you know, their mindset, that chip, I guess, that switch in chip of having to also assume defensive responsibilities might take longer with some players than others. I don't know. I'm just, you know, I'm not a professional football player. I'm not going to try to pretend that I know what is going on in the mind of an Alejandro Balde, right? Or for telling Xavi to tell him to do this or that or the other. But I do feel that maybe more opportunities should be given to clear potential that we have at the moment. He just extended his contract until 2024. From what I saw from him offensively, yes, I thought was very encouraging, and it reminded you of a Dani Alves in the sense that, you know, his function in a team with the offense that we saw Dani Alves flourish under, right? Or flourish in, rather. So right now, I would say it's time now. Like, it's time. It's also time for Busquets to maybe start sitting 30-40% of the games. You know, Gerard Piqué as well. These are all, it's the whole entire old guard, I feel, at moments like this, that is still keeping this team from really progressing, and maybe, you know, sacar su matrícula de honor, like pass their hazing, for all of these youngers to properly pass their hazing, to now start competing, and again get over all of these old traumas and the old guard that are just lastre on this team. They're just a drag right now on this team, I feel. And I'll finish on this. I know that sounds harsh, because we still get good performances from Busi, from Piqué, from time to time. And these, you know, sporadic moments, as vital as their presence might be in the locker room as captains, as veterans, as experienced players, I feel that their influence on the pitch is becoming a liability. And it's a long time coming as well. I mean, look, nobody escapes Mother Nature. You know, we're all getting older. If we sit here and pretend to assume or think that a 38-year-old can keep up with a 21-year-old that is entering his peak is we're just kidding ourselves. We're just kidding ourselves. Just like, I'll stop there.
All valid points. All valid points. I think now, to be fair, Xavi has integrated a lot of young players. And I think it's probably difficult to take out the whole team and put in new ones, especially given your central defenders. Like, PK is one of those names. How many defenders do you have to choose from right now? It's not like there's like a long list of talented young blood you can just shoehorn in there. Busquets,
look, man, you Araujo is a fixed starter.
I know,
and then
but
you switch.
And then after that, who's there?
Then you got to integrate Garcia, man. You're not going to give up on Eddie Garcia. He's the same age as Puyol when Puyol just started out with his team.
Puyol was amazing though at that age.
But in the beginning, how much criticism Carlos Puyol used to get, and how much fun people used to make of Carlos Puyol. People forget he was not that accepted with open arms in his first year.
Also, right back, from what I remember at that
also
time.
A right back, correct? Yeah.
Yes. So here I think the real kind of measuring stick is going to be what is Xavi going to do in the summer, and what is it going to be like next year. Let's be honest. I think we have to recalibrate and remind ourselves what the expectations were when Xavi first came in. We all, and by we I mean like the football world, I think the fair, reasonable ones agreed it's not about what we see this season. It's about what's going to be. Because to me, Xavi, really, his job will start in some way next summer. And I agree that
his job will start at the end of May, at the end of the season.
Sure.
With a preseason, at the beginning of the summer, we'll see where we finish in the league. That's when Xavi's period really starts.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean he gets free reign and just gets to do a bunch of shitty stuff for the first few months he's in charge. He has to get this team to be respectable. He has to make sure that this team gets qualified for the Champions League. That's a must. All that stuff is important. So I'm not saying it's completely a write-off. You have to make, but like I saw on Twitter, it was making the rounds that like comparing the first 13 games of Koeman and Xavi,
right?
And they're not. Xavi's is not better,
not dissimilar, right?
But my argument against that would be the difference is Koeman had an entire preseason and an entire season, and he signed some of the players he wanted to. And Xavi's coming mid-season, and he's trying to put out fires, and he's trying to promote youth players at the same time. He's trying to like strengthen certain things, and so it's different. So I don't think
and dealing with everything that Koeman dealt with, the injuries, the COVIDs, but like any team, obviously. But clearly, Barca has been on the shit end of this stick.
Well, I mean, and Koeman didn't have a healthy.
That's what I'm saying.
Ansu,
dealing with the
Pedri.
same things that Koeman dealt with. Yeah. The fiasco of the financial situations of the club, the instability, the change of board, that fell more under Koeman, obviously, and he had his own things to deal with. But look, man, I agree with you. And I said that as well. We're gonna judge Xavi based on entire full season. That's why, and let me just shoehorn this one in here because I know people love to bring up the Vinicius Ansu debate. Let's save that for when both, in particular Ansu, has got some consistency, and by that I mean one entire full season at least, or look, I'll be 3/4 of a season where he's healthy and played all the matches. Okay. Let's do that because otherwise it's just unfair.
We have to see it. Like we can't.
The small sample size that we've seen from Ansu, of course, I'm going to put him in the same conversation, if not above Vinicius. I mean, Vini right now is está callando bocas. He's shutting a whole lot of people up. Not me. I've always.
That's true.
Always.
You've always been a Vini supporter. It's true.
Always. And I always said he's going to score these goals. These chances are going to start to come or are going to go into the back of the net. And anyway, that's when I want to compare these two because I would love there to be this kind of rivalry and who knows and Mbappe and Haaland as well. I mean, if we could have that, Vini, Ansu, Mbappe, Haaland, and then
you keep trying to speak Haaland into existence, and I admire you for that.
I need it.
We just need to see Ansu healthy. That's the only.
Yes.
I mean, that's the only
number
thing
one
we need.
priority. Yes,
but you definitely won't find me saying, like, I know someone did send a message somewhere on either social media or Patreon that, like, do does Diego still think Ansu versus Vinicius is a debate? Or I don't remember what the wording was, and you won't find me like jumping on that one because there's no way. Like it's not fair. Obviously Vinicius is a better player right now, but that's because he's also healthy. And Ansu, whenever he plays, is lights out. So I don't want to go there either. Like so I'm with you. I want to see a healthy Ansu.
Fingers crossed, Ansu from CHURROS. Te deseamos suerte.
I found a good way to transition this to Real Madrid and ultimately Atletico.
Okay, great. So no Dembo's talk.
Oh, fine. Okay. Well, let's come back to Dembo's, just to spread it out to other teams for a second here.
Yes.
So I can get my Real Madrid headline for the CHURROS. Adrian
Marcelo out.
What's that?
Marcelo out.
Marcelo out.
You didn't see 3 games. He got.
Oh my God!
He's gonna get suspended.
We
got
to talk about that too. Yeah. Okay. I'll hold that for a sec. This is from our patron Adrian Rios. I don't think you've seen this question. He says, it might be too late to ask, but can we get Diego's take on Gavi's story mocking Toni Kroos? I feel like Kroos didn't say anything that bad. We've heard the stories about how Kroos practices, then goes home to be with his family, so him saying he has better things to do than watch Barca play doesn't sound that bad, especially given how Barca is not a direct competitor in the league. I get Diego's take on this being a loss to take pride in, but as a Madrid fan, I found it funny. I actually don't even think I'm qualified to answer this question because I don't really know what happened with Kroos and Gavi. I just saw that things were posted, so I don't really know. Do you know more about this than I do?
I came across it accidentally, so it's true that Kroos in an interview said that he doesn't watch Barca play because he has better things to do, which I think is perfectly fine.
But that means he doesn't watch anybody play, to be fair.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you would assume. I don't know the context in which it was said, but that's sort of my interpretation of that as well. And if it's just particularly about Barca, look, hey, it's... Are we the most attractive team to watch right now? And does Toni Kroos have better things to do? I'm sure. I'm sure he has better things to do than to watch Barca play. But if it was a dig, then, great. Let's hope that Xavi uses that fuel for the dressing room and, print out that quote and say, look, let's make Toni Kroos make sure we know who we are and how we play and make him want to watch us on TV. La-di-da. The way that how I saw it rather was that Toni, he posted a picture of himself playing Barca in the Super Copa, where in the background or just behind him you see Gavi on the floor looking a little flustered, while Toni is struts away with the football by his feet, looking around where to slot the next deadly pass.
Yeah. Then
Gavi posted a similar picture where he is doing that, and then deleted it like minutes later.
I think. Well, if I'm on Toni Kroos's Instagram now, and I don't see the one he posted either. So either he deleted it too, or maybe it was on his story and it expired. I don't know. I don't really know. But Kroos didn't say anything, right? He just posted the picture. I don't think he even cared who was in the picture. He's just posting a picture of himself, and it just happened to be Gavi that was in the picture. And the Gavi's like, motherfucker, me showing up in your Instagram? I think he just took it personally for no reason. I'm sure
Gavi's posse was like, hey, man, you're going to let this guy get away with this shit? This is bullshit, man. Here, tweet him this. This is you. Look who's sitting on his ass. It's Tony. Tweet it. He's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll tweet it.
I
got tweet remorse. Delete.
I don't know why, but it feels like Kroos triggers a lot of other midfielders and fans for no reason. I don't know why.
He triggers hate amongst fans?
Well, just like maybe not everyone, but a lot of people just like try to drag Tony on Twitter and Instagram, like social media. A lot of kids.
He's German, though, isn't it? I mean, that's what Germans. That's what Germans do. Like the disdain of the general people towards Germans is.
Do you guys? Isn't there any Germans for Barca?
I'm kidding.
Oh, Bernd Schuster.
Bernd.
Was there any others?
Schuster. Arschloch.
Great accent. Wow.
Hey, you went to Madrid, man.
It got worse. Now it became Austrian.
Why did you do that? Oh yeah, now I'm sounding like Arnold.
Yeah.
Ach du Scheiße, wirklich. Schuster, was machst du da? Hey. That's getting more Swiss German now.
It's getting worse.
I got them all.
Marcelo.
No. Listen, I love to make fun of Germans, all right? I just do. I'm sorry. It's the rivalry. I want to keep it going, okay? I don't hate Germans. Plenty of my really closest, good, best friends are Germans or Austrians, and I make fun of them all the time. So that's just what I do. It's to keep the Dutch-German rivalry going, all right?
Okay, we believe you. It's fine. It's fine. It's good. Marcelo getting 3 games is crazy. So he got 1 game for the red card, and then an additional 2 games for what he said to the referee. Did you see some of the decisions from that game?
I noticed that there were some odd ones, yes.
You saw the Cruz one?
No.
The Cruz one was shocking because Cruz gets... I think the yellow was not for the foul itself. It was because he just ran to the referee and started screaming because it was just a crazy call.
Kroos did?
Yeah.
Also, ach du wirklich? Was machst du da? Hey.
Marcelo's comment to the referee was apparently verbatim, quote, "You're very bad,"
yes.
Which got him a 2-game suspension.
Can't say that.
I just feel like when the referee is truly bad, you should be allowed to tell him.
But remember what happened with Koeman? Koeman said the same. Koeman said less worse than this.
How many games did he get?
He also got like 3-game suspension or 2-game suspension, something odd. Yeah, can't say these things no more.
I just
no, but so how was the game? I had the game on in the background. I wasn't paying too much attention, thinking it was going to be a Sunday drive, let's say for Real Madrid.
Yeah,
but took a little bit of effort. Took big Hazard and Isco to save the day. And we need to talk about Atleti, of course. Yeah, go.
So a few things. Elche generally is a tough matchup for us for whatever reason. It's not like they go into a deep block like other teams do. They actually like to venture out, play a little bit of a higher line. And on Zoom, I'm gonna send you the Tony Kroos tweet because because he actually quoted a clip of the Phantom call and commented on it. So you can look it up on Zoom while I give more analysis. But so Elche are a pretty difficult matchup for us, and we made a lot of rotations, which to me was kind of surprising. Like I didn't know. Like I know we were going to rotate against Alcoyano to an extent, but I just assume, and especially once we get to Athletic next round, which is like the 10th time we play them in 2 days, I assume the rotation will stop a little bit. But we rotated a few players. I think there was about 7 in total. Notably, we had Marcelo at left back, who had a tremendous game offensively and rolled back time. But then defensively, he struggled. Him and Vasquez had really poor games at the wingback position. And I'm assuming you're laughing because you're watching the replay.
This is wonderful.
Yeah.
I love this. This is fantastic. I love it. I'm so happy when you send me these kind of moments. Like the goal as well, the third goal in your previous round. That was classic. Like you couldn't script a better kind of goal. I forget who you were playing. Was it
Alcoyano?
Alcoyano, yes, thank you. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Well, that note, Isco is right now the Copa del Rey hero. He's like the champion. He's like the Cristiano Ronaldo of the Champions League, of the Copa del Rey. It's just scoring 2 goals in a row now, and both of them odd goals. Like the first one was the hilarious goal you talked about, and then the one against Elche was to be fair. I've seen it labeled as a deflection, but it looked like a very purposeful touch and a very calculated redirection from him. I was impressed with it. I would definitely not call it a deflected goal. On Hazard's goal, by the way, happy for the guy. I don't know what Axel Warner, the Elche goalkeeper, was doing on that play to rush out of his goalkeeping position like that. It was a crazy gamble and a terrible one. Maybe he just saw Hazard and he was like, well, I can just outrun that mofo, but it was a really bad gamble. So he's part of the reason Elche lost. But yeah, the referee decisions were really weird and just bizarre. Like, I don't even know. There's like bad refereeing, which this was, but also just bizarre refereeing. Like the Kroos one, no matter how many times you replay it, you're like, I'm pretty sure the referee was closer to that foul than Kroos was, which it just made no sense that he called that. He was right there. Yeah, so this game was from Real Madrid Vasquez, this is one of the worst Lucas Vasquez games I can remember. His touch was terrible. He was having these horrendous giveaways. We were giving the ball away like at a really worrying clip actually in the first half, but Lucas Vasquez was terrible. Marcelo was bad defensively, but again, really good offensively, rolling back time. We struggled dealing with Elche's wingers, plus Lucas Perez also burning Vasquez on that wing anytime he went over there. Kroos was the one constant. I know you love to hear that. I mean, his passing over the top, his long balls, basically as great as ever. Some great switches, some great pressing sequences. And then obviously we had Camavinga and Fede. Like Fede was a bit more quiet. Camavinga was a bit more active, maybe not as efficient, but he was at least shooting. He was trying to get into the right spaces. I still don't think he's playing in his ideal role, which I've discussed a lot. I don't think he should play the Casemiro role at all. I almost would rather Kroos in that deep lying position. I think it would really help our build up a lot more. But yeah, and then Vinicius just had some outrageous dribbling in this game. Kind of classic Vinicius from last season where he did so much but he just couldn't score. Rodrigo had an okay game on the right side, I thought. He had some good line breaking, some good pressure sequences, some bad passes. What else do you want to know? I already forget about this game, to be honest.
I mean, now the Copa counts, right? Now you guys are full in Copa mode.
It didn't count.
Be an important trophy.
When Elche were winning,
it'll be top priority.
When Elche were winning, I didn't care about it. But when we won, now it's a very important trophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But until we lose to Athletic, and then it's not important again. We don't care about it.
Well, let's see if that happens.
Yeah.
The other great tie, of course, Real Sociedad against Atletico.
It was a bloodbath. Not even